Started.
Chessie James, that's a cute name. Okay, I think it's time for e4 here. A Sicilian. What kind do we get? Okay, knight c6. Going for the open Sicilian as usual. He doesn't take back. I always wonder a little bit what to do. You know, I think one idea is to just defend this pawn. So now if he takes, I get another pawn in the center. And this, if he played D, if he were to play D5, that would sort of transpose into a French defense advance. But he didn't do that. Okay, let's develop my bishop and prepare to castle. Okay, so he's creating a light squared structure over here. He's going to fianchetto his bishop, I assume. I can always play e5 and then try and play on the weaknesses there if he castles on that side. So I'm just going to castle. And then I'm going to bring this knight out. This knight could come to d2 and then to e4. That might be interesting, as long as I'm not losing this pawn here. Which maybe I am. I mean, one idea he has is to play knight to f5 and double up on my e-pawn. D-pawn, rather. Double up on my d-pawn. But I can defend it. I think I will. So I think I'll start by defending it with bishop e3 so that I can play knight to d2. Oh, I could have gone knight to c3. I don't know why I was thinking I had to play knight d2. From knight c3 I can still get to this square where I want to go. And I'm willing to give up my bishop pair. He can take that bishop. It opens up this file. I don't know if it's objectively correct, but it's interesting. It opens up this file for the rook. I still have the knight looking at these squares. I hope it didn't take that as a pre-move. I don't think so. It didn't change any colors. Knight into... yeah, so this is an interesting moment. Let's think about this. I could play knight to d6 here, and that knight would be hard to get rid of. And the other way to play it would be to take en passant, which would open up the F file for both of us. Both of us would have an open F file here. Sorry. I like knight d6. I think. Let's see what his reaction is to that. And my center is very solidly secured, and I'm going to just play my rook to the c file here. The knight on d6, it actually controls the c8 square, so I can pile up on the c file, and he can't even bring a rook over here to counteract it. So I can pin that knight and start pushing this pawn, something like that. Try and open up the c file, make use of this knight. Just keep this knight well posted here. Okay, so he retreats the queen immediately. He maybe has ideas of playing on the queen side, king side. But I don't see anything immediately. He would have to push these pawns. So let's go with rook c1. Let's start with that. So I could just pile everything up on the c file and then start pushing the b pawn forward and kick this knight out of the way and maybe win a piece here on c8 there, where that bishop is. He's got some time. Maybe he can get the bishop out of the way. It takes a while to organize that. And let's see what kind of plan he comes up with. This knight controls all of these light squares. Okay, I don't want to give up this bishop. I want to keep that bishop. And yes, he gets a good square for his knight. So let's protect the e3 pawn. And now he's preparing to bring the bishop out. So, but I can already push this pawn forward. It's supported by the queen. And if he plays bishop to a6, I can play pawn to b5 there, shutting the bishop out, forcing it back to c1, c8. Okay, so he tries to bust things open here on the king side. That's probably a smart move, just changing the terms of the engagement here. I'm going to take that. And where is knight going from there? It's hitting these light squares. Still have pretty good control. Let's see, I could play bishop to e. Bishop to e4, hitting the rook. And he would probably retreat with this knight, I'm guessing. And then I could double. If the rooks were doubled, then rook takes bishop, rook takes rook, hitting the queen. And I'm a piece up if the queen moves away. Queen takes, I get a queen for a couple of pieces. Okay, he didn't do that. He went there. Okay, I'm going to try this idea of doubling. He still can't play bishop to... he still can't play bishop there. Okay, he wants to go after my queen. Yeah, that's logical. Let's see. So queen to f2 is maybe possible. These light squares are controlled by the knight, so that's not so simple. And if I drop back to d1, then it blocks this rook from coming over. So queen f2, I'm in the line of this rook. But can he really exploit that? These squares are covered.
Server announcement.
And let's think here. If I do double rooks here, he does have this discovered attack on the rook with the bishop. Rook here, knight moves, I take the knight, he takes, I take the bishop. So the knight has to go somewhere where I don't take it. So maybe back here, and I take the bishop, and he doesn't have time to take the rook. So I think I can still play rook to c1. If nothing changes here. And nothing did change, he just supported the knight. So rook c1. How is he defending that bishop? The bishop goes to a6. Oh, he's chasing the knight away. That's his plan. Yeah, that makes sense. Because now he has this pin. Okay, but let's go here first. Let's win a piece, and then maybe give a piece back. I also have queen to... yeah. I may have queen to h5 if his queen gets distracted somehow. If the knight goes anywhere with an attack on my queen, I can just take it. Or the check here or here, I can still take it. Maybe he just takes my rook. Queen takes, rook takes. Oh, but then the knight's not pinned and I can save the knight. Yeah, and I think I come up okay in this line. So he can take either knight. He takes that one. So now I can save this knight. So it's a queen and two pieces against a rook and two pieces. Yeah, I'm just up. I am up a whole rook. Now he has this check. Got to be careful about that. And I have queen here, threatening his bishop. and threatening the pawn behind it if the bishop moves. So if I play queen h4 and he plays the check, I have to move my king. The king goes to f2, and he has a check with the knight where I take it, check here I take it, or a check with the rook, and then I take that. So I think the checks run out. And if he takes my knight, I'm going to take his bishop. Let's see, he takes my knight, I take his bishop, then he checks. I still come up here, and the other checks don't lead anywhere. And there's
Check.
mate threatened there. Okay, so he goes for that check. Maybe there's also check, check, and then take here on h7 that way. That might be good as well. Yep, a tricky position, but it's looking good for me so far, I think. Yeah, so he takes there, and that was one line. I can take immediately, or I can take the bishop. If I take the bishop, now let's just take the pawn. Keep all of those threats. There's still no check from his rook or from his knight. His bishop is still hanging, and behind it the pawn is hanging. So I think that was, I don't know if that was entirely correct. Maybe it was more correct to take take the bishop while I could. But then he could take the pawn here and be threatening stuff. Yeah, the pawn's defended by the knight. So if I let him take on g2, that's pretty dangerous. He's threatening to queen, and his knight's defending the pawn. So I guess, yeah, maybe I had to take it. Okay, but what does black do now? The bishop is hanging. There's also a check here, and a check on h7. Okay, oh, he moves the rook, so he can bring that up to check me some more. So now I could take the bishop. That's what I think I should do, probably. And then he can check here, I take it. He can check here, I take it. He can check here with the rook. Then I have to move the king. The king can go here and attack his rook. Rook check. The king can go here. And no more checks. So take the bishop. And I'm also hitting his knight. So if the knight moves with check, I can take it wherever it goes. If the rook moves with check, then I will first go to a square that attacks the rook. And then if the knight moves with check, I will either take the rook or the knight. If the rook moves with check, then I will go to d1, and there's no more checks after that. That's the line I calculated.
Check.
So there's no checks from the knight here, no checks from the rook. And I still am up a queen for a piece. A queen for a rook. And the pawns are even. I even have an extra pawn. So it was a tricky situation, but I think I was probably winning through most of that. Let's see. Sometimes, you look at it with the chess engine, sometimes they will find some clever shot. Yeah, he just ran out of ideas here, and there's nothing. He's just losing. Okay, I will upload this and do a postmortem. See you guys later. Bye.